got our containers delivered. We cut out all the windows. We got them craned in onto our foundation.
Yeah.
And we were in the process of finishing out our structural welding, our railing. And about midway through that process, Dave had a major brain bleed. It was called an intracranial hemorrhage. It was spontaneous. There was no known underlying effect. Dave called me and said, something is wrong. I can't feel my arm. And so I instantly came driving home. And when I got here, he was about halfway up the driveway. And as soon as I pulled up, I could tell by the way his face was that he'd had a stroke or a seizure or something. And I walk up to him and I'm going to cry. He falls into my arms and he said, I was waiting for you before I went to sleep. And the doctor said if he'd gone to sleep, we wouldn't have this recovery because his brain would have shut down. And the way his bleed was, he wouldn't have survived it. And we had our fifth wheel here at the time. It would have been very easy for him to just lay down and go to sleep.
Lay down for a little bit, I'll be fine.
But it's funny, he's laying in the hospital bed right before they life flighted him for surgery, and he whispered, barely, but he whispered, I don't have time for this. We're building a house.
Right.
And I just kept thinking,
that.
It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. And so the prognosis was very, very poor, the kind of bleed he'd had and where it was at in his brain. It was so poor that they didn't even want to do surgery because it was so deep. They were afraid of the more damage that they would do. So it was a watch and wait kind of thing. I did not leave his room or his side for 5 days. I mean, I took care of him. I slept in the ICU bed with him. This was my best friend, and this was not the way that our story was supposed to go. By the end of the first week having him home, I had him into 5 different therapy appointments, and we worked around the clock for 3 months to reestablish his speech, his feeling, physical therapy. His therapist actually used our deck and the stairs as part of his therapy to learn the cognitive problem-solving part again, the dexterity with his fingers, the feeling and sensation with the screws and the drill. So it was scary for me to watch him using power tools when he couldn't.
It was almost therapeutic.
It was. And it gave him a purpose and a reason to get out of bed every day and a reason to get up off the couch. And so it slowed us down, but oh my goodness, it made us so strong.
We still managed to finish it off in 10 months.
We did. We finished the project still in 10 months and stronger and more appreciative of every single minute. And it helped us to understand that you have to find joy in the small things. Joy is not ever present. You choose to be joyful in the midst of